Far away.
Hey Lincoln, Walker Lyons, it's been 2 years since he's played football with a broken leg and just being away from the game last year. What's it been like watching him go through the acclimation process and kind of getting caught up?
Yeah, it's great to get him back. It's a such a unique story because you sign a guy and then you don't see him for a year and a half. We had to do our FaceTime calls with him at unique times of the day because I think it was a 9-hour time difference if I remember correctly. So we would do our calls in the morning a lot of times. He'd be getting ready to go to bed just to check in on him. And it's great to have him back. He did a good job, I think, of staying in shape. While he was on his mission, you can tell he didn't come back like crazy out of shape. Now there's a big difference between working out and then getting back into it, but he's handled it well. He's a tough kid. He's a talented kid. He's eager. He's learned. We were able to do a lot of kind of the offensive or early offensive teaching while he was abroad, being able to do that virtually, which I think helped him a little bit. He's handled it well. There'll be certainly some, and has been and will be some acclimatization for him, just getting back into the shape, the speed, and the physicality. But he's taken to it quick. I mean, it's I would say how he's been in camp has been pretty impressive considering the circumstances.
Do you have an update on Braylon Shelby and Cameron Fountain? And what have you seen from Deon Tomkins this camp? Can he contribute?
Same thing on the Shelby and Fountain. We don't have anybody other than Malachi Crawford long term. What was it?
Deon Tomkins, what have you seen from
Tompkins has done well. He's done well. He's one of those guys that's really been transformed in the weight room. Worked hard. He's been a standout scout team player for us here in the first few years. Guys that at times has given our 1-0 line fits. I think how we are playing fits him. I think schematically fits him. He's got a little bit more confidence, I believe, right now in his body, what we're doing schematically. You can kind of tell some of those guys that have now been with us a couple of years and all that work starting to add up, and he's got a little confidence and swagger about him, and I think that's been a lot of it in the past. Is I think at times he's been good enough, but he's got to believe that too, and that he's the most important one. And so I think he believes in himself more than he ever has. He's playing confident and aggressive. I know, both Henny and Nua have been very impressed with him.
Like in 15 years ago, your first OC job at East Carolina, you came in, really wanting to kind of play up-tempo, play fast, run 100 plays a game, that sort of thing. Kind of in the years since, how has your sort of offensive philosophy evolved from that point? And does it evolve, or do you see it evolving in the Big Ten?
Well, to me, it's always been about just how can we find advantages with the cards that we have. At East Carolina, we were, for the most part, our personnel wasn't as good as just about everybody we played, and so we had to figure out a way to beat the NC States and the Carolinas and Virginia Techs of the world with personnel and certainly depth that didn't quite look like theirs. And so at that time, I felt like that was our best advantage. As the years went on, both at OU and here, it's changed at different times. And then certainly, when you become a head coach, you think even bigger about it in terms of complementary football for all three sides. Does what you're doing offensively, does it fit with what you're doing defensively? What's your plan of attack to win a game? And what's the offense's role? And then combined with the skill set you have and what you think is going to make you effective to be able to score points. And so, to me, it's just about winning. Like you ask people, I don't look at stats. I don't look at the stats pregame. I don't even look at them postgame other than just when I'm on the podium so I can, honestly, the only reason I look at them is so I can reasonably answer some of y'all's questions. The traditional stats, like how many yards and like how many guys, how many, yards they got through for, rushed for, receiving. I don't care about that. That's irrelevant to me. It's there are stats that matter, but the ones to me are the stats that define winning. And so, whatever offensively, defensively, special teams we got to do to win, that's my mentality. But I don't ever want to be limited we can only play one way, because eventually somebody's going to keep you from playing that way, or a situation is going to keep you from it, and you're not going to be ready. Going into the Big Ten, we're going to get into some new situations, and we're going to have answers as a football team to go in and be successful, and all of our evolution will be a part of that.
What stats do you pay attention to?
I think more team stats. I definitely don't look much at individual stats. I don't look a ton at yards. Yards to me is, I'm not saying you can't get anything from it, but it's a little bit irrelevant to me. It doesn't really tell the whole story. I mean, I think you know, yards per play are big ones, third downs are big ones, turnovers are big ones. I mean, obviously any of the big, you know, blocks on either side, sacks on either side, tackles for loss. I mean, the things that show overall production. You know, because I mean, you can have a team that had 650 yards of offense, but they ran, you know, 90-something plays. They didn't chew up any clock, and they stunk in the red zone. Somebody's look and say, "Oh my God, they had 650 yards." Yeah, but they scored 23 points. You know, versus I've had times where we had 480 yards of offense in a game, and we scored 60. But we only had a couple of. We didn't have many plays. We chewed a bunch of clock. We kept their offense off the field. We were crazy efficient, and so that's just sometimes the yards, especially the individual stats, don't tell the full story.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
All right, thanks guys.